Hello you beautiful people, welcome to the channel. My name's Paul if you don't already know, and well, it's all about my van now. But I just wanted to make a quick video. There was something I saw on YouTube a couple of weeks ago now, and I've stewed on it for a little bit, and I thought I've got to do something about it. I ain't going to name the channel, but quite a big channel posted a video, and he stated something on the video which I pointed out to him in a private message that wasn't correct. There's a slight truth in it. I'll get to that later on. There's a slight truth to it, but it's not factually correct. And he just blagged me off saying he was correct, he knew what he was talking about. Well, he didn't. Not 100%. Like I say, we'll get to that later on. So I thought I'd make a complete video on the whole thing. And obviously it's about weights of the vehicles, the vans. Now the majority of us go out and buy these panel vans, myself included, and obviously there's a weight limit on the vans. This one I'm in now is a Citroen Relay, and it's plated at 3.5 tonne or 3,500 kilos, a metric tonne. Well, that's upsetting. I just sort of spotted something on my van that I don't like. I'll deal with that. That's something else to do. Yeah, so 3.5 tonne. Now, how do you know that it's a 3.5 tonne, your van? What do you know? How do you know your plates, your weights of your vehicle? Well, somewhere on your van, sometimes it's under the bonnet, on the slam panel under your bonnet. Normally it's in the door frame of your passenger, your driver's side door frame. It could be in the passenger side door frame. There will be a plate, and I'll put an overlay picture on the screen now. This is just one I stole off Google, just to give you an idea. Now it's a little bit confusing. Obviously this one isn't, because it says everything on the screen. So I thought I'd just go through a few bits and pieces regarding that first. So obviously the top one, where it says 3500, that is your maximum authorised mass, also known as MAM, M-A-M, MAM. So you'll see MAM spoken about in documentation, your maximum authorised mass. Basically what that means is, this vehicle, I'll say this vehicle, like I said, this VIN plate on the screen is not for my van. It's just a random one I stole off the internet, but we'll say for the purpose of this that it is this van. So this van going down the road, when it's got full of fuel, full of water, you know, in the tanks, I'm driving, I've got a passenger, dogs, blah blah blah. I haven't got dogs, but you know what I mean. Whatever's in that vehicle, while it's going down the road, it cannot exceed 3,500 kilos, 3.5 metric ton. If it exceeds that, you're getting into naughty ground. Again, we'll talk about that later on. But I've got to stress there, it includes everything that's in the vehicle. Fuel, people, animals, luggage, clothes, bikes, scooters, wheelchairs, anything. Whatever's in there, food, the lot. Whatever's rolling down that road adds to that weight. And that's what you'll be weighed on. Makes sense. The next one on the screen, on the VIN plate, I'll keep calling it a VIN plate, I don't know if it is a VIN plate, but the plate, it says 5,500 gross train weight. Now we're getting into a little bit of difference here. A gross train weight is if you're towing something. So sometimes you'll see, particularly motorhomes, not so much camper vans, but particularly motorhomes, they'll have an A-frame on the back and they'll have a little car out the back there. So your maximum gross train weight is everything. Anything you're towing plus the vehicle, hence why it's a higher at it's like, I'm looking down here, I've got notes, it's 2,000 kilos more than the vehicle. So it's the same there. So anything that's in that trailer or the car that's back there, so it's not like you can take your luggage out of here and put it into the car because then your van's lighter. It doesn't work that way. You cannot exceed the gross train weight or the GTW. We'll talk about licenses regarding what you can and can't drive, and what categories you need. So the next one is 1850, if you're looking down the list, and that's your front axle, and it ties in with the one after it at 2000, which is your rear axle. Sometimes when you get weighed, there's two different ways they'll weigh you. They will put you on a big bridge, they call it a bridge, weigh basically it's a scale, a big scale, one big scale. You just drive onto it and it'll weigh the vehicle as a wanna, and you'll just get your man weight. That'll be your maximum gross weight of the vehicle as it's sat there. They can do that with the trailer on as well, if the bridge is big enough, if the weighbridge is big enough, and that just gives you your maximum authorised mass. Hopefully, if you've done everything correctly, you're under your gross weight, and happy days, you're on your way. The second way they can weigh you is they will do it. Technically, there's 3 ways. If they do a pop-up one, they can put plates under your wheels, and you drive up onto the plates, and then they're all linked together, and it does it the same with the bridge. But sometimes you'll go and there'll only be 2 plates there, so you put your front wheels onto the plates, they'll weigh them, and then you put your back wheels onto the plates, and then they'll weigh them, and then some kind of wizardry magic, I don't understand how it works, but that will work out your maximum authorised mass, your MAM weight, and it'll give you a grand total of under your maximum weight, hopefully, if you've done correctly. What those figures denote is your front, on this particular example, that vehicle, when you weigh your front axle, it cannot weigh more than 1850. Then when you weigh your rear axle, it cannot weigh more than 2,000 kilos. Now obviously adding them together, that's 1850. That doesn't mean you can run your vehicle at 1850. That just means that if you've got 2,000 weight on the back, obviously you can only have 1,500 on the front, if that makes sense, you know. So you just can't exceed those limits. It doesn't mean you can add them together and that's what you can carry, because that's not how it works. You just cannot exceed any of those figures. If you exceed any of those figures on there, of those 4 figures on that plate, you're looking at getting yourself into a little bit of bother. Right, so what licenses can you need? Do you need? Even better. These vans, majority of the vans that you buy, unless they've been adjusted, affected, changed, upplated. Let's just explain about upplating. When I say about upplating, when I mention upplating, what I mean by that is the vehicle will start out from the factory at a 3.5 ton, or rephrase that, it'll have a maximum authorised mass weight of under 3.5 ton. Then it'll have modifications done to it, so suspension upgrades, probably brake upgrades, things like that, and then it will be well, I'll just walk past, he's pissing himself because I'm talking to the camera. Then it'll be paperwork chased, and paperwork will be done, and it will be upplated to above 3.5 ton. So normal vans you can drive up to 3.5 ton on a category B license. A category B license is your normal car license. Once it goes over 3.5 ton, you're looking at a C1, a category C1 on your license, which covers you up to 7.5 ton. If you're an old git like me, and you passed your test like decades ago, I'm sure it was July 1997. If you pass your test before then, you get what's generically known as grandfather rights, and on your license you will have category C1 on your license already, so you're okay, you're covered. There's no issues. Also, we spoke about train weights, gross train weights. If you're pulling a trailer or a caravan, or you're dragging a vehicle behind you, your vehicle then becomes articulated, so you need the plus E on the end, so you would need a B plus E license. It used to be that you could pull a trailer up to a certain weight without any additional license. I've looked on Google and DVLA and stuff like that, and I just can't find anything about that anymore, so I can't confirm, deny whether that's true. So I just simply don't know if you can pull a trailer without upgrading your license. I don't know. So I'd strongly advise you to check that out before, or if you plan on pulling a small gardening trailer or something like that. Like I said, I'm sure it was up to 250 kilos. But strongly advise you before you go pulling the trailer at all to confirm that you are legal to do so. But yeah, if you're going to be towing a smart car or a little 106 or something like that behind on an A-frame, make sure, one, you don't go over your maximum train weight, and 2, you have the correct license, which is a B plus E. Right, so let's talk about this urban myth of this this 5%. This is what this other chap said. He quoted on his video, and I'm not going to name him because I just don't play that game. And if you do know who I'm talking about, I really appreciate it if you do not put it in the messages, in the comments. Just don't do it. If you do, and I see it, as soon as I see it, it'll be deleted anyway. Please keep your mouth shut about it. I'm not into playing games where, you know, who said. It's just not my game. I just don't think it's right that he's got a very good following, very good channel, massive channel, and I love his channel a bit, and I watch it every time he uploads because I do like the guy. I like the channel. I just think when you've got an audience of several thousand people watching your content, I just think the information you put out must be 100% factual. There can't be any grey areas whatsoever, or you need to hold your hands up and say I'm not quite sure, which I did earlier regarding the towing of trailers. So what he stated was he's in the process of upplating his van. As I mentioned earlier, he stated that his van was sat at 3,650 kilos when they're ready to go. He's got all the family in, the pets in, everything in the van, ready to go down the road. He's 3,650 kilos, which, as I mentioned earlier, his van is plated at 3,500, so that puts him 150 kilos overweight. He then went on to say, but that doesn't matter because there's a 5% leeway. Now, let's do the quick math. What's 5%? So, if it's 10%, that's 3.5 tonne, so it's 1.75 tonne. So that should put him at 1.75, is that right? No, 150 kilos over. 10% of that is 75 kilos. Oh, I don't know, my math's not working. Shall we do it maths properly? Hang on. The 5%, so 10% is 350. Half of 350 is 150, 25, 175. Yeah, 175. So, in the way he's talking, he's okay up to 3,675 kilos. So, effectively, what he's stating is he was 25 kilos underweight. It's not true. There is a 5% leeway there. It's not a legal thing. If you're overweight, you're overweight. End of discussion. If you're 1 kilo over your mum, you're overweight. End of discussion. You can be prosecuted. This 5% comes in when the vehicle has like an open back, for example. So let's say you've got a transit pickup. So you've got a flatbed pickup, you know, with the sideboards on. You go down to the builders merchants. I know it doesn't matter to us with the camper vans because they're enclosed vans, they're panel vans, but let's just say hypothetically, and I'll explain it to you. You take this pickup down to the builders merchants and you fill it to the brim with sand, for example, sand or topsoil, something absorbent. You're way off and you're bang on your mam. So we'll say it's 3.5 tonne, 3,500 kilos. So you get on the weighbridge, they don't have them at builders merchants, but let's say it does, and you're sat there at 3,500 kilos, bang on the button, you're perfectly legal to go out on the road. As soon as you pull out of that builders merchants, the heavens open, you have a massive torrential storm, thunder rain, and it goes on for 2 or 3 miles while you're driving down the road. All this water's getting, you know, onto your product in the back, and sand soaking up the water. You just get into where you're going, the old bill pull you in for a spot check, and they weigh you. You've now got all this wet sand in the back. So when you left the builders merchants, you were at 3,500 kilos. Now with all this rain, all this water that's soaked into your sand, you're now overweight because obviously that water weighs. There's a weight to water. In fact, it's actually at 1 kilo per litre. God, how do I remember that? I remember that from when I used to work in a bakery years ago. But so if you've got 1 litre in that, you know, of rain which has fallen and soaked up, you're now 1 kilo overweight. So every kilo you're overweight, you will get fined for. But that's where this 5% comes in. It's a leeway. It's down to the individual officer that stops you, whether he allows you to continue, whether he actually prosecutes you or not. But that's where that 5% comes in. It is not for enclosed vehicles like a panel van, not for a Luton van, anything enclosed like that. It's in case for inclement weather, things like that. You know, I'm sure you understand. So what I want to stress is, you cannot, in a panel van, when you're converting a panel van or a luton or a horse box, anything that's converted, like, well, horse boxes are generally bigger, but you know what I mean. Panel vans, lutons, anything that's enclosed like these, you cannot go over your MAM. End of discussion. You cannot go over it until you've upplated it. And as we mentioned earlier, if you're upplating it, you must upgrade your license if you don't have the correct category to a category C1. Yeah, I can't stress that enough, guys. Like I say, I love this guy's channel to bits, but the information he gave out was incorrect, and he wouldn't back it up. He wouldn't acknowledge that, which annoyed me. So that's the main reason I put this. So I hope you've picked up some information that you found useful. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. At the end of the day, if you do get stopped by the police for whatever reason, you're in a commercial vehicle, generally they're classed as commercial vehicles, are these panel vans. So you've got risks of being stopped by DVSA, as they're called now, VOSA as they used to be. The police will stop you. I got stop checked the other day in my truck. I was stopped having a break, and they just stopped. They checked my tachograph just randomly. It was just a random check. Checked my tachograph, and they also checked my eyesight, made me a registration plate. Well, I passed everything, no problem. But the first test you've got to pass when you get stopped by one of these guys or girls is the attitude test. If they pull you over, you wind your window down, and it's like, oh, what, yeah, why me? What have you done me for? You know, if you start with the attitude straight away, you're going to get their back up, and they find you 1 kilo overweight, you're getting done. It's as simple as that. They will not take it off you. They will not take that grief off you. They will just take the money out of your wallet and probably take your van off you. You know, they'll impound your van. Because at the end of the day, if you're overweight, you're overweight, and there's no arguments in that. You just can't argue it. So keep an eye on your weights, keep an eye on your license, and make sure you're covered on license. And yeah, just enjoy the builds. Enjoy your builds, and like I say, stick your comments below, and I will catch you in the next video. And I will at some point do an interior view tour. Keep promising. Take care, guys. Thanks for riding along with me, and I'll speak to you in the next one.